going on, everybody? Episode 75 of Who Gives a Dram is here today. We're recording. It is Tuesday, April 19th. This is going to be released on Wednesday, April 20th. We all know what that means. That's the National Weed Holiday. Won't be reviewing any weed on this episode. Funny enough, have never smoked weed before. And that, hand to my heart, looking up at the almighty 6-pound, 8-ounce newborn infant baby Jesus up there. Never smoked weed. And not because I have anything against it or I think it's unhealthy. I just never, you know what it is with me? And maybe some of you guys relate to this. I grew up in like the time of weed was like really edgy, against the rules. It was super cool to do it. Or when you were growing up, you thought it was, oh, you smoke weed, you're cool. And I just hated that mind state. I didn't want to do something just to be cool or just because everybody else did it. So I didn't do it. And I have always had that mindset moving forward. Like I never wanted to do anything just because everyone else is doing it, or all my friends are doing it, or it's because it's the cool thing to do. That's never been my MO. So even to this day, I like to do things because I like to do them, because they make me happy. I don't know anyone else. I don't know a single one of my friends besides Matt Donahue who does a podcast on their own on a weekly basis. I don't know anyone else who does it, just me. I don't know anyone else who, enjoys whiskey as much as I do besides my brother. Has like an obsession about it. I like to do things that I enjoy, and I found in my 25 years of life on this beautiful pebble we call Earth, I found the things that I really enjoy. And I'm sure I haven't found all of them yet, but that's what I've and plus, like, smoking weed in high school, like, that's a very transformative time. That's a very transformative time in your life where a lot of different things influence you. And it's easy. You're like a big sponge. You absorb a lot of things. And that's kind of what mends you, kind of like later years of middle school and all of high school. You kind of find yourself. And you always find yourself throughout life. But that's really the most influential time period. I tend to think that's the most, that's the time in your life where you are the most influenced by outside energy and objects. So even though this is the 420 episode, I've never partaken in the smoking of the weed, and I don't plan on it. Now, am I still a degenerate? Of course I am. Do I like to smoke a fat stick? Of course I do. Have I considered myself a borderline alcoholic with the amount of whiskey that I've drank? Yes. But it's all in moderation. And we just like to have fun with it. We just like to have fun, have a silly goose time. And that's why we do this podcast. We review a whiskey. We talk about silly goose things. And that's what we're going to do. So, we got a lot of things to talk about. Wow, there's already been 4 minutes. Was not expecting to start the episode like that. But we got a few things we want to talk about this episode. It might be a little bit of a shorter one. I say that all the time. It ends up being a fucking hour. But the whiskey we're going to be reviewing, and everything will be timestamped below, by the way. Everything is timestamped below now. So if you just want to skip to the Penelope review, be my guest. It will not offend me, I promise. As long as you're consuming my content and you're leaving a like on my videos, a comment on my videos, you're subscribing to the YouTube channel, and you're subscribing on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, that's all I give a shit about. Also, rating and review on iTunes. I know I talked about it at the top of this episode, but that's super important as well. Like, if you rate and review on iTunes, that is how Who Gives a Dram grows. That's how Bourbon with Friends grows, and that's how Popcorn Pillow Talk grows. By the way, been doing trailer reactions through Popcorn Pillow Talk, which you can find on YouTube. We're more of like a YouTube thing right now. We have a few podcast episodes, but Man, are those fun. Trailer reactions, I think that's a gold mine in terms of like an untapped potential, because our production value isn't the highest. We want it to be higher, but I mean, we're doing some serious numbies on our trailer reactions there. So I have a lot of fun doing that. But anyways, yeah, everything is time stamped below, as if you just want to skip to the review or you want to skip to certain sections, be my guest. But we are doing Penelope, the Architect Straight Bourbon Whiskey. This is finished in French oak staves. It's 104 proof, 52% alcohol by volume. It is such a unique bottle. I found it, I believe, for $65 from my buddy Ron over at Wyoming Spirits. Mike and Danny are two very good friends of mine. We've had them on Bourbon with Friends. I stay in contact with them. They're two great gentlemen. I will always support Penelope. And I'm excited to get into the review. We're going to crack open the cork. We're doing a cork pop on today's episode. I've never had any little sippy poo of this. This is the first sippy poo. So we're going to break the seal. We're going to pop the cork. We're going to pour some out, and we're going to have a good time. But how was everybody's week? I know you're not going to answer that because I'm talking by myself, but I had a good, well, I had a bad week that turned into a good week. So, Easter Sunday, I hope everyone had a fantastic Easter. I posted a pretty fire picture on my Instagram. I was hoping to get some clout with my Colonel E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof, which I have yet to review. I don't know when I'm going to break that one out. But thought it was pretty fire. I thought it was a pretty fire picture. If you haven't seen my Instagram, who gives a dram, go check it out. But if you're a true listener of the show, if you were listening to the show back in, I think it was September or October, right around that time, then you'll remember the dreaded story of the fungus toe. I got that cut out, surgically repaired, yada, yada, yada. Not really a surgery, but you get cut open, so technically a surgery. And I thought it was good. Little did I know that thing was going to come back. And that thing was literally going to be more painful than ever before. So basically, what I refer to as fungus toe, it was an ingrown toenail. And my right big toe is fucked up. I don't know how. I don't know why. I keep good care of my feet, kind of. I'm a guy, so I kind of do. I kind of don't. I don't know. I've never gotten a pedicure. I didn't think I needed one, but now I might start going. Because I don't want to have this ingrown toenail problem again, because it is so painful. It really limits what you can do. On Easter, I couldn't run around or anything. My toe was in so much pain. So that wasn't fun. But the ingrown toenail came back. I've been kind of feeling it for a few weeks, but I thought it was just kind of normal. And then it just, I don't know, it just started swelling up pretty good over the course of a few days. And I'm a busy guy, and I'm not paying attention to my toe. It all snowballs into, holy shit, this really hurts. And my nail is still growing back from the other surgery that I had. So I just thought it was kind of growing back in, and that was how it was going, but no. So long story short, won't get too much into this toe story, but long story short, had to get it cut out again, and I actually kept the part of the nail that we had to cut out. So I cut off half my nail again. Basically to fix it, we had to, peel the skin back, get the part of the nail that was growing into my skin out, and then we cut half the nail off just like last time, and ended up cauterizing a solid amount of both the nail bed and the skin, so that the skin wouldn't grow back in the fashion that it did before, which is what kind of led to how my toe got fucked up again. And I had about an inch of nail growing into my skin, into my nail bed. So walking on that, oh my God, I stubbed my toe on Friday night. And this is when it was really swollen and puffy and just not feeling good. And it hurt so fucking bad. I couldn't, I almost cried. And thankfully I didn't, because I had company, but I almost cried. And it was so painful. And I tried to have my dad carve some out on Saturday, and we got a little bit, but once he got to the part that was really deep in there, I promise you, you cannot fix an ingrown toenail without getting numbed up. I had about 15 shots of Novocaine in my toe yesterday when I got this sucker cut out. If I didn't do that, I would have passed out. If I tried to pull it out myself on Saturday, which I tried to do, where I tried to have my dad do, no, it hurt so bad. Just going down there, just the tiniest bit. And it's because it was close to a nerve, and there's a lot of nerves in your feet, so I would have passed out, man. It was so rough. I couldn't believe how much pain a little ingrown toenail puts you in, but that's the second time this has happened. So it was a bad week because my toe hurt a lot, but now it's a good week. It's a new week, and it's a good week because my toe is healed. And I got to bandage it up a little bit. I have some gauze pads on it right now. I have some different types of antibiotics on there. But, yeah, rough couple of days at the office, but the surgery went well. Shout out to Rusty, who's my surgeon, my toenail guy, and it all went smooth. And I wanted to have my toe fixed because we have a big event coming up this weekend in which I will be traveling to Kentucky, the inaugural Kentucky Bourbon Ball, presented by Bourbon with Friends, with our main event sponsor, Kentucky Eagle, benefiting Folds of Honor. I am so excited for this event mainly because I have no idea what to expect. I mean, this was an event that was in place before I joined Bourbon with Friends, that Paul had kind of started, and the way him and his wife have, what they've been doing to make this a success, it blows my mind. They are just, I mean, they're two great people, obviously, but they are just working their asses off on making this a success, and it is going to be a success. We've basically sold out of tickets. I think we have a few tickets left, but we have a very large head count. We have a very, very prestigious whiskey tasting for our VIP members. We have some very awesome keynote speakers. We're going to have a great dinner, and it's at a castle. We're all going to be dressed up nice. It's just going to be a great night, and it's all going to be for such a good cause, for benefiting the families of fallen soldiers, wounded soldiers, our veterans, via Folds of Honor. So it's all just for such a good cause, and I can't wait to spend the weekend down there and really, not only help out Folds of Honor and help out, do our part in helping the men and women who have sacrificed everything for this country and who have made it practical for me to record this podcast in the comfort of my own home, but to meet the people that I've been speaking with on Instagram and all these other places for such a long time, but haven't met in person yet. A lot of people are going that I've been friends with, that I just haven't met. And all right, we're back, I think. Hopefully through the magic of editing, you don't just, I can make that work, but I forgot that my phone was at like 10% when I started recording, so I had to plug it in. But to go back as to what I was speaking about, yeah, this is going to be a big deal event, and I am just super excited. I'm super excited to meet everyone that I haven't met yet. There's too many people to list, but I've only really met Paul. That's like from the whiskey community. I have some friends like that I know that are like personally that are from my area, but they're not like they don't have any Instagram accounts or anything like that. So to meet these people is gonna be fun. It's gonna be a great night. Again, it's benefiting such a good cause that that it just makes everything so much more fun and so much more, like, it means a lot to me that this is happening and that I get to be a part of it. So I just feel very honored that I get to do this with Paul, a good buddy of mine, and I feel very honored that and Liz, or Paul's wife, who's just as involved in this behind the scenes. And I can't wait to report back on the event next week here on the show. And yeah, there's just so many cool things happening with it. I think Paul and I are going to set up a little booth, and we are just going to podcast throughout the entire night. I hope so, at least. That's what we've been talking about, because we're going to have some really awesome people there that we should be able to sit down with and get some recording in, and hopefully get some good content out for you guys. But I'm super looking forward to this weekend. I'm a little nervous. I don't know what to expect. And back in the day, I hated that. I had a really bad anxiety problem when I was a younger kid, like in high school, and even a little bit in college, like 18, 19 years old, even. About I had an anxiety issue, and what it stemmed from was I like to be in control. I like everything black and white. I don't like the gray area. I like to know exactly what's going on, and I don't like to be surprised. This is very much the opposite. I know the logistics, but I have no idea what's going to happen at this event. I just don't know. But I feel very comfortable because it's going to be in front of people who I trust. I trust Paul more than a lot of other people, and there's just been too much hard work for this for anything weird to happen. It's just going to be such a good night. And although I'm nervous, I'm more so. It's like a giddy anticipation to get down there and spend the time with all these people and really just have a ball. No pun intended. So that's going to be this weekend, April 23rd, at the Kentucky Castle in Versailles, Kentucky. Can't wait for it. It's going to be great. And it's at a castle, man. I get to dress up in a suit in a castle, do some podcasting, drink some whiskey, just have a good time. That's what it's all about. That's what life's all about. It's just chilling, having a good time. That's what I like to do. I'm not one of those people that seek out adventures. I just like to chill and have a good time. I like to have a silly goose time. I've said that so many times on the show. But yeah, what else can we talk about? We had the UFC fights on this week. I will not talk about them very long. I'm not even going to section them on the podcast here because it's not even worth it. It was Belal Muhammad versus Vicente Luque, the second fight. I think it was actually at UFC 205, where Conor McGregor knocked out Eddie Alvarez to win the lightweight championship, become champ. On that same card, Vicente Luque, who is currently was ranked number 5 in the lightweight rankings, and Belal Muhammad, who was ranked number 6. They fought back in 2016. Vicente Luque knocked him out. And now, this past weekend, they had a rematch, and Belal Muhammad won by unanimous decision. I think it was mostly 49-46. I believe that's what the cards were. But without going into too much detail, Belal Muhammad really used solid footwork, made it hard for Vicente Luque to set up his shots, and Belal Muhammad did a good job of using his jab and using his strikes to set up unpredicted takedowns. Because Vicente Luque stuffed a lot of Belal Muhammad's takedowns where you could kind of see them coming, but when Belal Muhammad would set up his takedowns off of strikes or off of parrying movement, he took down Luque very easy and just was able to keep him on the ground for a few minutes at a time, get some good ground control, not really land any huge shots, never had Vicente Luque in danger, but really just dominated him from minute 1 to minute 25. So I would be willing to bet that Belal Muhammad takes Vicente Luque's spot and becomes the number 5 ranked UFC lightweight. So it's going to go Kamaru Usman, and then it will go Colby Covington. Should go probably Kazmat, Gilbert Burns. What is the UFC lightweight rankings? We can search that because I have my laptop right here. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry, welterweight. Let's see what we got here. We got Covington, Gilbert Burns. Oh, these are from a while ago. Nope, that's not it. Let's go to UFC.com. That should help. There we go. So we got here. Let's go back. Nope. Covington and Leon Edwards, number 2. Khamzat Chimaev, number 3. Gilbert Burns, number 4. Bilal Muhammad, number 5. So if I'm the UFC, I am making Usman versus Leon Edwards most likely. I'm making Covington versus Khamzat. And honestly, a really good fight would be Gilbert Burns versus Bilal Muhammad. I think that would be a great fight. And I would love to see Jorge Masvidal fight Vicente Luque. They won't make that happen, but that would be a great fight as well because there's going to be no takedowns in that. So if I was Sean Shelby, if I was the UFC, I'm going Kamaru Usman versus Leon Edwards as my next title defense. I would heavily favor Kamaru Usman in that matchup. Then I'm going Colby Covington versus Khamzat, which Dana White has already said they're probably going to make that happen. Such a fire fight. That is such a good fight. Then we're going Gilbert Burns, number 4, versus Bilal Muhammad, number 5. And that's probably going to set up the number 1 contender fight because the winner of Covington versus Khamzat probably gets to fight the winner of Kamaru Usman versus Leon Edwards. And then the rest of the division pans out. I mean, we still have Jorge Masvidal in the mix always. Stephen Thompson ranked number 7. Maybe he rematches Vicente Luque, even though he pieced him up just a few weeks ago. But Vicente Luque has a fun fight against Masvidal as well. That would be really fun. And yeah, but the problem is that they could really just jump everyone and put Khamzat versus Kamaru Usman if they really wanted to because Khamzat's such a huge draw right now. But him versus Colby Covington, the smack talk would be legendary. Probably kind of cringy, but legendary nonetheless. And I think Usman just needs to take out Leon. I mean, in that case, he's wiped out most of the top of the division. And that will set up him versus Khamzat. If Khamzat can get through Colby Covington and Kamaru Usman beats Leon Edwards, we've got one of the biggest fights in UFC history on our hands, without a doubt. That will be a $1 million+ pay-per-view for the UFC. 1 million buys, at least. But staying on the UFC news, so I guess I will section this, the UFC section. So if you want to get right to the whiskey review, it'll be tagged in the show notes below. Let's see here. Some news in the heavyweight division. So as we know, Francis Ngannou is out for the foreseeable future, probably forever with the UFC. I can't imagine that they're going to re-sign him. He's probably going to box Tyson Fury, assuming Tyson Fury wins this weekend versus Dillian White, which I'm sure he will. He's like a minus 550 favorite. I'm taking Tyson Fury in that fight, probably by decision, because Dillian White is pretty good. But rumor is that July 2nd, a contract has been offered to both Stipe Miocic and Jon Jones to fight for the interim heavyweight championship of the world. And if that's the case, take every cent to my name. Take all of it, because I need that fight. I would love to see a bigger, motivated Jon Jones, because we didn't see that in his last stint at lightweight. He was kind of just coasting versus these hungry lions that wanted, to make a name for themselves in the division at the time. Dominic Reyes, Thiago Santos, Anthony Lionheart-Smith. Although all 3 of them gave Jon Jones a really good fight, and some say Dominic Reyes beat Jon Jones, which I don't agree with, but Jon Jones was just coasting. He didn't care. He didn't give a shit. But a larger Jon Jones with motivation versus Stipe, who is a consensus probably greatest heavyweight of all time in the UFC, or nevertheless in MMA. For the International Fight Week card, July 2nd this year. That is such a good fight. I need that fight. And then I'm sure they're going to make Tai Tuivasa versus Tom Aspinall. Even though I've said this before on the podcast, I really don't want them to make that fight, but it is what it is. That's going to be a fight that makes perfect sense. I just wish they would put Tai Tuivasa versus against someone else. Put Tom Aspinall versus someone else. I don't know, just maybe against Derek Lewis or something. Like I want perfect world Tai Tuivasa and Tom Aspinall meet for like a heavyweight championship at some point, or they meet for like a solidified number one contenders match. I think that if they each get one more win, then they should fight each other. Right now, it's a little bit too soon. Other than that, nothing else really happened this week for UFC at least. But we do have that Tyson Fury fight this weekend, which I'm very much looking forward to. Tyson Fury versus Dillian White. Like I said, I think Tyson Fury is a minus 550 favorite at this time of this recording. Maybe a little bit less, but I have Fury winning by decision, unanimous. I don't know if he finishes Dillian White, because Dillian White is a fairly talented boxer, whereas Deontay Wilder was just kind of a brawler and a power puncher. But I think they probably make Tyson Fury beats Dillian White, and then I wouldn't be surprised. He might fight one more time, but I wouldn't be surprised if he just doesn't go for Francis Ngannou, because although it's such a ridiculous fight, everyone's going to tune in to watch that. I know I would, so. But other than that, we touched on the Kentucky Bourbon Ball. We touched on my fungus toe. We did a little bit of UFC talk. I didn't really see any whiskey news this week. I guess we can search it real quick. I did have a very good cigar, though. I had a Cuban cigar. It was a Cohiba, I believe. I forgot the name of it, but was given to me, and it was super good. I wish I posted it on my story. So if you saw it on my story on Saturday, I actually smoked that cigar right after I got done working on my toe, and it helped ease the pain. And I had a pour of 4 Roses Small Batch Select. But I also had a pour of 2 different 4 Roses barrel strength, or single barrel barrel strengths, 2 different yeast strains on that. And then I also had a pour of a Belle Meade Sherry Cask Finished 10-year, age-dated 10-year Jack Rose pick, which was a legendary pour. That was very good. I posted that on my story, and that got a lot of love. I had a lot of people reach out to me saying how much that's like one of their favorite unicorn pours of all time. These are the things that happen. If you know whiskey, guys, like we literally just went to where we go on most Saturdays, and it just turned into I bought my Penelope, Kale bought an E.H. Taylor small batch, and something else. And then it's like, hey, let's open something else. It's 12 o'clock on a Saturday. Let's just open something else, and opened up a few good pours over at Wyoming Package Store. Shout out to Ron over there. And yeah, that was cool. That was super cool. But yeah, Whiskey Advocate always does this like whiskey weekend type of thing. So April 15th, this is a few days ago. They come out with like new whiskeys that are coming out. I'm not really sure, but let's see if there's anything interesting here. They have a Macallan Distillery, Your World, New York. So this must be a New York limited edition, because it's going for $4,500. Yeah, nah. $4,500 for 750 mils, $4,200 for 700 mils. Limited to 1,000 bottles. So there you go. But yeah, no. The latest release in the Macallan Distillery, Your World series, seeks to capture the essence and spirit of New York. The whiskey combines 6 European and American oak casks. As with previous releases in the series, the Macallan team collaborated with the Roca brothers, owners of El Salar de Can Roca, in developing the whiskey, which builds on the subtle apple notes already found in Macallan. Yeah. No thanks. It's at 50% though, or 49.5%. Kind of interesting. Cool bottle. I was actually just talking about this with Ron this weekend, that this is going to go for big bucks in the secondary, 100%. What else? Anything else interesting here? Nope. There's a lot of cool releases that are coming out. Nothing catches my fancy as much as the Prisoner Blend High West that we talked about last week. I will be waiting patiently for that. But with that being said, let's just get right into the whiskey review here. It's time. I want to drink a little bit of whiskey, and I want to do my first Penelope on the show. I don't think I've done a Penelope yet. So this is the Architect, and the newest release from Penelope. It's all the rage. I've only seen a few reviews of it on YouTube, but everybody's getting it. Everybody's loving it. Penelope is fantastic, as we know. Mike and Danny are master blenders. They're some of the best at what they do. They have some of the best looking bottles. Again, we've had them on Bourbon with Friends a few months ago. So if you haven't listened to that episode, me, Paul, Mike, and Danny, go check them out over on Bourbon with Friends. That was a great episode, a great interview. You can really get an essence as to who they are as men and why they started this brand and what they want to do moving forward with this brand. Maybe I'll have them on Who Gives a Dram as well. But let's read what it says for the Architect here on the website. Before that, let's open this up. Let's get a little bit in the glass so we can let it rest for a minute or two before we actually taste it. I don't know if the science behind that is correct, but I like to do that. I like to let the whiskey, if I'm tasting a whiskey, specifically tasting a whiskey, like I'm going to try to pick out the notes that I find in said whiskey, then I like to let it sit in my glass for a little bit and rest in the glass. Now, if I could just get this open, that would be great. There we go. This is a literal uncorking. About as real as it gets. It didn't all come off. I like to take every single bit of plastic off. I don't like there to be any plastic left on all my bottles. There we go. Here we go. Move the mic up here. Solid. Let's get it in here. Solid little glug glug right there. All right. So, smells good. So as I said before, this is finished in French oak staves, and another whiskey. It's too far behind me. That I really like. That I recently discovered. That's finished in French oak staves, which I really like. Is now I can't think of the name of it. Blue Note Crossroads. Take my Weller out here. This one, if you're watching on YouTube, if you haven't picked out, I'm going to review this soon on the podcast, but I really enjoy this. Finished in French oak staves. Very good pour. And this Penelope is also finished in French oak staves. So Architect is the new blueprint for precision blending. The first build in this series combines our signature 4-grain mash bill with 2 styles of French oak staves. Working in collaboration with somewhere in France, the market leader in oak barrel manufacturing and innovation, we selected each stave using their state-of-the-art oak scan process to construct a truly memorable flavor profile. After all, the best architecture leaves no room for error. The tasting notes are here. I don't want to read them, though. Type and proof. It's 4-grain, straight bourbon whiskey, French oak stave finish, 104 proof, non-chill filtered. Age and barrel char. It's a blend of 4 to 5.5-year-old whiskey using number 4 staves and number 2 heads. Not exactly too sure what that means, but nonetheless. The process, it's a blend of 3 bourbon mash bills comprised of 4 grains, corn, wheat, rye, and malted barley, finished with 2 different types of French oak staves, delicate stave, low tannin content, and intense stave, medium tannin content. The mash bill is 75% corn, 15% wheat, 7% rye, 3% malted barley. I think I'm going to love this stuff. So let's get right to it. On the nose, See what we think. I bought this for I think $65. I'm not sure what MSRP is typically on this. I'm gonna say it's right around there. $65 to $70 is my best guess on the MSRP on this thing. Let's take a look at the nose though. Very very pungent. It's definitely there. I mean, that's a strong nose for 104 proof. Off the bat, I get definitely a fruitiness on this, like an apple, candied apple maybe. I get a little bit of molasses on there as well. It's definitely sweet, but it's not like overly like. There's a pretty high wheat content on this. You would think that it's like very sweet, but it's not. It's more like dark molasses, a little bit of like cinnamon in there as well. I get that nice fruit though. That's a very, very nice like candied green apple with molasses in there that I'm getting. A little bit of like ethanol, a little bit of like a alcoholic vapor type of thing going on too. A little bit of maple syrup. It's very good. Vanilla. I mean, you get all the standard notes, but what comes out to me besides like the vanilla and the oak is a candied green apple I get on this, a little bit of molasses, hint of cinnamon, maybe some brown sugar in there to go along with the vanilla and to go along with the oak. This is a very nice nose. This is right up my alley. A bit sweeter, but it still has that darker presence. I really enjoy that with my bourbons. I don't like anything overly sweet, and I don't like anything overly dark. I like a happy medium. So, especially with this mash bill, I'm assuming I'm really gonna like this. So let's see what happens. Let's see what we like. Penelope Bourbon, the Architect, episode 75 of Who Gives a Dram. Let's see what we think. A bit hotter than I was expecting going down. But I do enjoy it. First sip, a lot of it's a bit, like I said, it's a bit spicier than I thought it was going to be. A little bit of barrel spice on there, I'd imagine. Maybe it's that stave, but a little bit, yeah, it's because it's not rye spice. There's a little bit of baking spice, but I think it's just because it's kind of like a cinnamony spice to it. Now that I'm letting it kind of sit and linger for a bit longer. Huh, interesting. First sip though, pretty good. Pretty good. That's nothing that's like blowing my hair back, but take another sip of water. I get a lot of that dark sweetness. Like I get like almost like dessert. This tastes like dessert kind of. Like I don't know if it's like burnt brown sugar or like something along like a burnt vanilla kind of, like marshmallow maybe. But it's got a very present darker sweetness to it. Some spiciness, some baking spiciness on it that I really am enjoying. It's definitely drinking about its proof, actually. I mean, it's really kind of spot on, 104 proof. This is really good, man. I mean, this is definitely different in the fact that there's not a lot of differentiating between the nose and the palate. They're kind of similar. They're kind of really similar. Like what you smell is what you're tasting. And for me, I find that I don't get that a lot, which I'm quite enjoying because I did like the nose. What's good about this is it keeps on getting better and better after every sip. That's a good thing. That's what you want to look for with a bourbon or any whiskey. If it's staying flat after every sip, something's wrong. But if it keeps on improving and snowballing on top of each and every sip, that's how you know you're getting a little bit of complexity in there, and there's some expertise going into this bottle. The architect, like I said in the description, no room for errors. And there aren't too many errors in this that I can find. What I'm getting is it's almost like a little bit too spicy, I think. Like I wish I wasn't getting as much of like a barrel spice and a cinnamon spice. It's not taking away from the overall experience of the taste, but it's just like a little bit too much for me. I might just be nitpicking at this point, but I'm thoroughly impressed. The fruit, that nice candied fruit, is kind of not as prevalent on the nose, but it's still there. Then, like I said, the nose is really similar to the palate on this. It's like creamy almost, like I said, like a marshmallow type of cinnamon marshmallow type of body on this that is staying with you the entire way. This is actually really tasty. The finish is a little hot. This is getting better with every sip. So this is kind of hard for me to rate because I'm actually really enjoying this after every sip. Yeah. This is going to be a tough one. I like this a lot. I think I like this more than the Toasted series, which is the only other Penelope that I've had. I've heard Penelope has such a good reputation. I've heard incredible things about all of their products, but I'm thinking that this is definitely better than the Toasted series. This is a unique, creamy vanilla body with like marshmallow and cinnamon and brown sugar. Just enough, a little bit too much on kind of that cinnamon spice, baking spice for me, but it doesn't take away from the overall experience. A nice finish that stays with you. A little bit of heat on there. It's got this consistent candied apple fruit type of essence that stay almost not like a perfumey type of thing, but it stays with you the entire time you're going from the nose to the palate to the finish. It kind of makes its presence known in that department, but what I'm pulling away from this is a really strong, like creamy marshmallow, vanilla, cinnamon body on the palate, which is all like what I enjoy. I wish the cinnamon was toned down just a hair, but that's not going to take away from the fact that this is an excellent, excellent bourbon. Mike and Danny, you guys killed it on this. This is a fantastic pour. It's very different from the Toasted series. I actually like it a lot more than the Toasted series. For $65, maybe $70, I don't know what the MSRP is. I bought it for $65. Where I buy it from, it's usually always MSRP. So we'll say that $65 to $70. This is a fantastic pour. I mean, this has a lot more of a complexity to it than, say, what else are you getting for around that? Like Old Forester 1920. This is a bit more complex than that, in my personal opinion. That's a $50 bottle. 1910, same thing. really a lot of barrel proofs. This is coming in a little bit more. It's not coming in as hot, but there's a little bit more of a depth of flavor and body to it, which again I really enjoy. This isn't my favorite pour, but it's up there. And I'm gonna be reaching for this quite often as I move forward with this on my shelf because this is very tasty. And hopefully, if I run out and I can't find it, Mike and Danny, you can send me another one. But this is good, man. This is good. I'm gonna give this an 8.7 out of 10 on the Who Gives a Dram scale. This is a superb pour. It's not quite cracking the nines for me, just because it's not quite hitting my personal preference as to what I enjoy in my bourbons. But I mean, 8.7. This is something you see this, you buy it. I'd spend over MSRP on it by a little bit. I'd probably go up to $80 for this bad boy. And I'm glad that this bottle is getting hype on the internet because it definitely deserves it. But 8.7 out of 10 from me. And that's going to do it for me here this week on the show. Episode 75. 75 episodes we're in. So I'll let you guys know how this weekend goes. I'm sure I'll be hearing you'll be hearing from me on my Instagram as I get down there Friday and Saturday and Sunday. But I'll sum up the event next time we talk. So make sure you tune in. Make sure you're subscribed on all your audio platforms. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. Liking the videos on there. I'm going to start doing full episodes plus just review clips. I'm still doing my shorts. I'm trying to get my Instagram shorts out there, my TikToks, 1 minute reviews as well, cutting it up. Yeah, that's what I've been doing. That's what we're going to keep doing. Follow all the social medias, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all Who Gives a Dram. And continue. I appreciate all of you guys who continue to listen. Our numbers are steadily growing. We were ranked in the food category in Apple Podcasts like last week or 2 weeks ago, which is fucking huge, and couldn't do it without you guys. So also you can buy my merch with the link in the bio, this awesome sweatshirt. I've also got a few other things of merch available. I think I got a crew neck, a t-shirt, and a sweatshirt. So if you want to go buy those, check out the link in my bio on Instagram. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the rest of your week. Have a great weekend. Drink responsibly, drink safely, and always remember, whiskey's the water of life. So let's start living.